Let's do it.
Romans 10:13. Very quick, very straight to the point verse, but I really like it. We read it earlier tonight, actually. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Straight to the point, simple. Why I chose this verse, bro, was I think being Christians, growing up in church, learning everything we do. Excuse me. That was a big one. Learning everything we do, growing up in the church that we do, we sort of forget about the simplicity of the gospel, and we forget about how simple it actually is. And this verse just sort of wraps that all up, and it's just like, look, if you call upon the name of the Lord, you're going to be saved. That's it. Simple. That's the gospel. Yeah. You know, Christ died for you. If you want to be saved, you want to go to heaven, call upon his name.
I love the two verses after that. Verse 14 and 15. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things.
Yeah.
I love that. How do they hear without a preacher?
Bro, and that puts so much, like we were talking about last week, puts so much onus on you and I and Christians to do our job. How are these people going to be able to call upon God's name if they can't hear about it?
Or if no one's willing to go and talk about it?
Yeah, well, listen, bro, like we're in this lockdown right now, right? We've got all this time on our hands. We've got a lot of people texting us, calling us. We're having a lot of chats to try to stay active and talking. What about our friends who don't know Christ in this time? They're not doing much. They're not thinking about much. Are we giving them thoughts about their eternity? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's so important.
Yeah.
And it also shows this, like, if we go back to 13, I want to go through this bit by bit. Okay. So let's start at 13. It shows the simplicity of what it means to be a Christian. I think the problem that we face today is religion tries to cloud us, tries to confuse us, tries to give us all these different things that we need to do to earn favor with God. But God makes it very simple and very clear. No. All I want is for you to call upon my name and you'll be saved. I've done the work. I just need you to call upon me. That's what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, then you're right. Paul continues to move and says, how can they call on him if they don't believe? Very simple question. How can someone call upon God's name if they don't believe in him? It's a step-by-step process. They need to believe, and they're not going to be able to believe if they haven't heard about him. And whose job is it to make them hear about it? Whose job is it to tell them about it? Well, that's you and I. That's Christians. And are Christians doing their job spreading the gospel? Are Christians doing their job making sure that unsaved people are hearing? Because we need to be preaching to them. And you cannot be preaching to them unless you're sent. And how do you know you're going to be sent without reading God's word, being in his will? It shows how important it is for Christians to be living a godly life that is in line with his word. Because if you don't, you're not going to be on the right path to spread the gospel the way he wants you to.
That's right. And I love when you've broken it down. What I love to do is, like, if I find myself on a particular verse, I like to focus on the verses a bit before and a bit after. So as you were talking there, verse 12, I looked at, for there's no difference between the Jew and the Greek, for the same Lord over all is rich unto all that call upon him. And you know what? We had a brief discussion tonight with some of our friends that we'll kind of do a discipleship with. You know, there are so many people who feel as if they can't come to Christ because God won't accept me for the things I've done.
Yeah.
What the amazing thing about that is God is saying, I want you to come as you are.
Yeah.
The way you are. I don't want you to start doing good things and trying to do good works and trying to start making up for things that you've done that you've done in the past. I want you to come to as you are and come to me as you are.
Yeah.
and I'll through my power, I will change you. You know, I think that's so important that Christ died for everyone.
Yeah.
He died for the whole world. You know, people say that he didn't die for me, but you know, he thought of us individually, every single one of us. He thought of us on the cross.
He thought of you, bro. Like, that's the thing. Like, if you're listening to this, you don't know Christ. He thought specifically of you. Like, that's the crazy part. And you think it's a cliche. You think it's something that Christians just have to say, or it's just a nice thing to say. No. Like, you think about that. I was thinking about that when I read this verse tonight. Is when he died on that cross, bro. There are billions upon billions of people that have lived upon this earth, and he thought about every single one of them individually. That's insane.
It's mind-blowing. With the amount of people that are on this earth, like you stated, and you know, every single
Looks like we've lost that.
One of us, he took us into account as he died on the cross. Huh?
Oh. I lost you a little bit there.
That's weird.
Yeah,
sorry,
froze for a bit, but no, you're right. You're 100% right, and I think it's so important for anyone that's listening to this and doesn't know Christ is he's just waiting for you. He really is. Listen, I don't care what you've done in your life. I don't care how bad you think you are. I don't care what you think is more important. There is nothing more important than sorting this out with Christ. Call upon his name, believe in him, ask him to save you. And if you're a Christian, what are you doing right now? What are you doing during this lockdown? What are you doing during COVID that's helping spread the gospel? What are you doing so that others can hear? I thank God that we have this avenue to do it, Stat. We're doing it right now. Like, that's crazy. The fact that you and I can sit down and talk, and this is us spreading the gospel as well. But we need to be doing it constantly, bro. We need to be doing it in our personal lives. We need to be doing it in our professional lives. We need to be doing it everywhere we can to make sure that people have a chance to accept Christ.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, it's not one of those things where, you know, we can just jump on a podcast, do it like this, and then just
think
go back to our go back to our own lives and then not think about it. But just because we're on a podcast where, you know, we're talking about it, but actually living it in your day to day. And I think that's one of the, especially now in a time where we're locked down, as much as we don't want to talk about it, but we are locked down. That's the reality of the situation. And it makes it a lot harder to an extent for us to, you know, physically go out and physically spread the gospel and talk to people about God. But it's amazing what, like, the power of, you know, just social media, you know, just sending someone a text through, you know, Instagram or Facebook, even having a live stream, you know, like our church does live stream services. So just sending a link to someone, hey, check out our meetings. You know, you don't have to, we can't physically go anywhere, but here, just check out the meetings. Tell me what you think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think there's so many avenues in a time of lockdown. We kind of limit to ourselves, oh man, how do we preach this person, or how do we go about it? But there's still so many avenues that we have through technology that we can still do that.
And we're just lazy. We don't do it. I think you've just, you hit the nail on the head there, bro. Like, this week, I'm going to make a point to share it on my social media. Hey, jump on, check out our church service. You're right, bro.
It's important because, you know what? It could just be that one person going through something that they just say, you know what? Let me just see what this is about. Let me just see what I can watch and see what it can do. And you know what? That can just be leading to something, you know? So it's very important that we get to do that we get to just be an example through our social media platforms, through a podcast like this, just to be able to get the gospel out.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Very important.
Guys, make sure we're spreading that gospel. Make sure that we're telling others what we can, and let us know. Let us know who you're talking to. Let us know if you've had any experience, any cool new ways to spread the gospel. Would love to hear those things that we can add in our own lives. Get into the comments section. Let us know what we can do, or different ways that you spread the gospel. It'd be really cool to hear. And if you do have any questions, you don't know Christ, or you'd like to know more about this topic, again, jump into the comments, send us a DM, let us know. We'd love to talk to you about it.
For sure. Don't feel ashamed. If you kind of feel that you don't want it out in the public, you know, want other people that can see it, problem, just send us a DM. If there's anything that, you know, we can pray for anyone for, especially because obviously it's in these trying times, it's not ideal to kind of keep yourself sane.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely lose my mind. So I can understand what other people are thinking, mate. If there's someone that just needs prayer for anything and they're comfortable enough to send it through, please, send it through. We'll be praying
please
for you.
do.
But yeah, like Ray said, if you guys have any questions on what we've just talked about or any topics we've discussed throughout the 5 episodes we've done, serious, not serious, whatever it is, just pop it through. Let's have a chat about it. And if there's anything, any way we can help, please let us know.
Stato.